That looks like it's really good shape. I'll get in the basket. Today, I'm at Joshua Springs Disc Golf Course just outside Boerne, Texas, continuing my search for the best disc golf course in the greater San Antonio area. Don't have the best weather today. It's a little bit cold, a little bit rainy, but I won't hold that against the course as I review it. Starting off, we've got a nice tee sign here. It's only showing holes 1 through 9, which I know originally this was not an 18-hole course, but it has been expanded to that. I don't know if there's another hole map on the other side for the back 9. We'll check that out as we get over there, but it is definitely some nice signage to get started. One really cool thing about this disc golf course is here on the tee of hole 1, they have this borrow or trade where you can pick out a disc or try one out. Most of the plastic is not spectacular by any means, but for people who have never played before that are maybe out at the park and want to give it a shot, it's nice to have that there. They do have a camera there monitoring it to make sure people don't steal. I'll try to grab one of my discs out of the truck and leave one here before I leave. All right, hole 1 is 356 feet according to the tee sign. It plays really well for a forehand or a backhand left-handed throw. Really just throw something straight, let it fade, and then end up by the basket. I'm gonna shoot it to see if it really is 356 feet. It plays slightly uphill, so you really have to go to put a pretty good throw on it to get it there. Trying to get over here where I can actually see the basket. Yeah, this will work here. I know I'm not on camera, but it's got 352 feet, so pretty close there. I'm gonna go with a growler on a backhand because I've tried throwing lariat on a backhand turnover and I usually come up a little bit short. We've got a little bit of a headwind and it'll be the first throw of the day. Here we go. That looks like it's really good shape. I'll get in the basket. Oh my God, I almost aced that on the first throw. That would have been wild, but I should have a look for a birdie from there. My first thoughts so far are that the tee pads are really nice. Plenty of room for a good run up. I typically do like concrete tees, so those are nice. And then tee signage is pretty good so far, and the distance was pretty close. I ended up even closer than what I thought. I thought I had given it an ace run, but I must have come up pretty short there. But nice little tap in here. All right. Oh, my hand's cold. Almost missed that short putt. One thing really nice that I'm seeing so far is these markers showing you where the next tees are. It's not too far away. Most people I think would be able to navigate it, but it's a nice touch. Hole 2, the tee sign says it's 314 feet. I shot it at 307 feet with my rangefinder, but it's basically a big spike hyzer. You got to go around this power line that's in the middle of the fairway, as well as over and around this tree to get up there to the basket. I'm gonna go with a Warbird here and see if I can get up there. This tee's definitely got some mud on it here. Gotta hang this wider than I think. It's gonna hit the tree, I think. Oh, it got over it. Okay, that's not bad at all. A little short, but made it around the tree. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with my throw and my form right now, especially backhand. I have a tech disc and sometimes I throw it and I've got like 5 miles an hour less on my backhand velocity than I did last year around this time. And my throws are coming out a little bit more wobbly. So I've got to kind of look at that and see what's going on because I'm having to disc up a lot more and throw harder than what I should have to do. This is a pretty cool little green here on hole 2. We got a sign that says, "Watch out for venomous snakes." I've never seen one here, but I'll take their word for it. I'm only here about 25 feet to a little bit of an uphill putt, but we got some wind. Just gonna try to give this a little bid. Well, tapping for par there. All right. 1 under through 2 holes. They've also got these little yellow or orange tags pointing the direction of the tee, as well as the little arrow marker, so you definitely should not get lost out here. There's also some pretty decent scenery behind me, some hills that are in this park. It's pretty quiet out here. Hole 3 is the first tee where the distance seems like it might be a little bit off. They've got it listed at 313 feet. I used my rangefinder and was getting about 290 feet. It does play uphill. We've got a little bit of a headwind, so it probably will play closer to that number there today. I'm gonna go with a Warbird, just trying to spike hyzer forehand over there and give us a look. Really good for a lefty here. And then they try to entice you with a little bit of an up the gut shot that you could go with. I know a lot of times they have some OB marked where you can see it's a little bit taller grass, but there's none out there today, so I'm just gonna play it as casual. All right. I like that. Yeah, that looks good. Come on, get up there. Oh, parked. We're underneath the basket. Perfect tee shot. All right, that should put us at 2 under through the first 3 holes. It did look a little bit closer off the tee. I thought I was like right underneath the basket, but I've got like a 12-footer here. Should be something I make every time. But I've definitely missed these before. All right. On to hole 4. All right, through the first 3 holes, I've been pretty impressed with it. Tee pads are nice other than the mud, but that's not their fault. Shot selection seems pretty good. You can go forehand, backhand. It's giving you some options. Hole 4 is 290 feet, but really the basket is way over here. I don't know if you could try to just punch something through the woods, but I think the best play is a spike hyzer over these trees, but you've got to kind of stall it and let it fight back left really hard. I'm gonna go with a Lone Star Disc Chupacabra. That's gonna be like circle 2 at best. Definitely hard to get all the way to the basket on this one. I think it's definitely possible, but it takes a tricky shot. I left myself pretty deep here in circle 2, probably like a 60-footer. These are putts that I don't expect to make, and really ones that have been biting me in the butt here lately playing tournaments, because I'll run these really hard and leave myself like a 25-footer coming back, and then I miss that. So really I want to start getting better about giving these like a safe bid that keeps me close to the basket. So we'll give that a shot here. Well, nope, I did exactly what I say I typically do and leave myself a little bit of a tester coming back. I really hope I didn't just foreshadow what was to come, because I left myself like I don't know, it's only like 15 feet here. Definitely a putt I should make, but I feel like these are harder to make for par than they are for birdie. All right. All right, a little left, but it's in. Hole 5 is one of those holes where you can kind of cheat it a little bit. I actually normally play a spike hyzer over the trees here and just try to spike in. The hole says it's 292 feet on the tee sign. I shot it at 268. I think the predominant play will be a forehand down this tunnel, trying to get a skip to the right. I'm going to play my traditional over the top play first, and then I'll try to show you all the forehand play, but this one will be the one that counts toward my score. The tee's a little wet, so that'll make it a little bit tricky. But we're just going to try to hit the corner of the tee pad here and throw this over the trees. I usually end up a little bit too far left, but kind of edge a circle. Woo! It's a little bit slick. It's a dangerous run up there. I'm gonna try to get a little closer here. All right, that looks pretty good. Oh no, came up pretty short there. Having a short in the run up probably affected me there. Should be a 3 though. All right, gonna go with the spur on a forehand line. I've actually never really even attempted this just because the over the top is so available there. So we'll see what we can do here. I'm gonna throw a little further back on the tee pad since it's a little wet at the front. Well, that's pretty much parked. Maybe I should have played the traditional play. I definitely ended up in a pretty tricky spot. I hit this tree and fell down. It's not the easiest up and down. That pink spur under the basket's looking pretty good right about now. I'm just gonna try to find a way through this tree and give myself some sort of a putt. I could either go like through this little gap here on a little Anheuser forehand, just trying to fight through this little brush, or I can try going over the top. I think I'm gonna go right here. Looks like there's a little gap there. Good enough. That should work. After 2 shots, and I'm still not even to where my other tee shot ended up, but it should be a pretty routine tap in for par here. All right, and then just for good measure, we'll get this spur and tap it in. All right, par though. The reason I typically elect for the over-the-top play and that forehand isn't the most appealing to me is if you mess up the over-the-top shot, you end up where I just was. You're like inside circle 2, pitching up for a par. If you mess up that tunnel shot, you can leave yourself pretty short with a very tough approach shot. So I just feel it's the safer way for me to guarantee a par. All right, so on to hole 6 here. It is a 462-foot par 5. And I can go ahead and tell you, I dislike this hole. Definitely on the verge of hating this hole. First off, as a par 5, it's not a true par 5. Very soft, even with what I'm about to say. The hole, there is no true line. You hit this first gap, and then it's just like, try to figure it out from wherever you land. I don't think there's any way to consistently have a repeatable shot that hits a landing zone or anything like that. You're just throwing at a wall of trees and then scrambling from there. Definitely can get the 3 fairly easily. I think if they cleaned up some trees here on the right and left like a true little spike height or a little low hyzer line into the left tunnel, that would be good. But the way it is now, I hate it. I'm gonna go with the lariat right up the middle and just hope I can find something. Hit a tree, but I should be able to scramble something from there. If you've played this course and have some secret to how this hole is supposed to be played, let me know. It's easy to score on, but I don't think there's a true line. So this is the wall of trees that you're really aiming toward off the tee. There's no true gap that is bigger than the other or anything. You're just trying to fight through there and give yourself some sort of a look. From where my disc ended up, I've got a tight gap, trying to hit a forehand to get up to the basket. As long as I can get to that first gap, I should guarantee a birdie, but there's still a chance for the eagle in play here. I'm gonna go with the Lone Star Disc Dos Equis and really just focusing on hitting this gap and letting the disc do the rest. It's a tight little gap. That was not hitting the gap. Well, I should still be able to scramble. See, that's the thing on the shot. Like, that was terrible, yet I'll still have a chance to get a 4. So I ended up only advancing about 40 or 50 feet from that last shot. Left myself a little bit of a tunnel shot here. Just gonna go with the standstill with the Texas Ranger. Try to get up there and have a look for this birdie. That looks pretty good. Just slide a little bit. Yeah, that should be like circle's edge for a putt. So of course I say it's a soft par 5 and then leave myself like a 45 footer for birdie. It definitely feels more like a par or bogey putt, but I'll take the strokes right now. Good tree. All right, should be able to tap that in for a par. Although I do feel like it is a terrible hole, definitely not one that a 5 feels good on. All right, on to hole 7. All right, after the 5, definitely feel like I left some strokes out there. It should be an easy 4 and a possible 3. Really just got to get lucky on the tee shot. Next hole is another soft par 5. We'll take a look at that one here in just a second. Hole 7 is a 527-foot par 5. If you're playing for an eagle, you can really throw like 250 feet to this opening, throw another like 250 feet, and leave yourself a pretty standard putt. Or if you want, you can try to go over the top and play to that second opening, and then almost guarantee an eagle and even have a look at the albatross. I've chained out for the 2 once with a little forehand from like 100 feet, but we're gonna try to give it a shot here. This tee pad is very slick right now. It's the only one that is pavers rather than the concrete tee pad, and it's a little bit shorter as well. But I've got a Lone Star Disc growler. Try to get it over these trees. Oh yeah, that looks good. It's got a good turn on it. Let's see where I end up. It's pretty good. Right in the opening. Should be a pretty easy eagle, which really is more like a par or a birdie, really. If this had been a hole on like the Disc Golf Pro Tour, there would definitely be several twos on it. It would play as like a tough par 3 or like a super easy par 4 for them. So it definitely shouldn't be a par 5 for anyone, really. If anything, par 4 would be fine. I didn't quite make it to the second opening like I was hoping for. These trees are sometimes marked OB, but even where I landed would have probably been safe. With those OB, it makes it a little bit more challenging of a hole. You could probably still just play the layup and everything. But I've only got maybe 180 feet here or so. I'm gonna go with a horny toad on a forehand and hopefully collect this eagle. That should work just fine. We got like a 15-footer here for eagle. Really gonna feel more like a par or a birdie. I guess that helps the score a little bit, but I mean, that's what you should do on that hole. Hole 8 is just over 300 feet. Plays pretty straight with a gentle little fade at the end. I'm gonna go with a Lone Star Disc midi. Hopefully just throwing it a little bit on the right side of the fairway, and it should finish and leave us in circle 1 for a putt. This one always seems to play a little bit longer than what it feels like for me, so I'm gonna give this a decent little pull here. It's wide, but if it gets inside that tree, it'll be good. Got knocked down. Easy par from there. So for hole 8 being as simple as it is, I really like it. It's one of those holes, if you end up where I did, you're gonna end up losing a stroke to most people because all I've got is a layup and you should end up inside the circle on this one. So I'm just gonna take a horny toad layup, take my 3 and move on. All right, easy tapping for 3. So I definitely don't mind a course giving you a few easy holes where the challenge is really a mental battle. It's like, hey, you know you should get this hole 9 times out of 10. Go and get it. I mean, that's the only thing that happens here is the shot is super simple. Just yanked it. Hole 9 is a 326-foot left to right moving shot. I've got a Lone Star Disc Chupacabra. It's nice and beat in, flies a lot more like a spur does. Just gonna throw it straight, let the disc do the work, and it should be a pretty straightforward shot here. All right, a little mud at the front of the tee, gonna step back just a touch. That should be perfect. If it gets a little skip, it should be inside the circle. It's a little bit short, but should play. Did end up just a little bit short here. Left myself about 25 feet or so. A little bit uphill, not too much wind to speak of. There we go. All right, that was the best feeling putt of the day so far. I'll take that. I really like these stones around the basket. I think it just shows that the disc golf community or the city, whoever put the course in, put a little bit more effort into it, and I like those little details. All right, so through the front 9 here, I've been pretty impressed with the overall course quality. Tee pads have been pretty great. Signage is good, fairly accurate. There's a few that aren't quite perfect. Then the overall cleanliness and upkeep of the course is really good. The only thing I haven't been thrilled with is a couple of the holes' course design. Looks like it could be updated to help out. I didn't see something with the map for the back 9, but I'm standing on hole 10 here, and we'll get the back 9 kicked off here. Hole 10 is a must-get birdie out here. It's just about 200 feet straight in front of you. It's really fun to throw an ace run at it though, so I'm going to take 2 shots. I'm going to go with my horny toad for my tournament play, just trying to get close to the basket, and then I'll throw a walker on a forehand and try to ace for you. Let's start with the tournament play. Just going to throw it out to the right here, let it swing in. Nothing spectacular. That should work just fine. Yeah, probably 15 feet right. And then now for an ace run, we're going to go with like a little flex forehand with the walker. I didn't put quite enough on it. Even that one ended up pretty parked. As I thought, not too much left here, maybe 12 feet for the birdie. Honestly, I hate this distance putt though, because I try to baby it and then I end up like short arming it. So I just need to make sure I putt it fully. That was a little bit hard, but it's in. Hole 11's tee sign says it's 277 feet. I shot it at just about 250. I'm gonna go with this Chupacabra. It's been in my bag for a few years now. Never got an ace with it. Maybe today's the day. Plays straight in front of you. Forehand plays well to the hillside. Just hang it out wide and let it spike in there. It's gonna be a little short right, but it's gonna be putting. Yeah, it's inside the circle. No ace though. All right, got caught up in this tree over here. We'll try to get in there and play it from behind it here. Oh, some thorns and stickers. I think my foot's pretty much under it there. Tricky little lie, but it shouldn't be too bad. Don't have to do too much here. All right. Nice to get a little birdie there. Probably came closer to the ace than what I initially thought off the tee though, since it was actually deep in the basket. Hole 12 is a 327-foot par 3. It plays as a blind spike hyzer. Really just trying to get around this first group of trees and get left. Going over that tree just in front of us or just inside of it can get you up close to the basket. I'm gonna go with a Warbird. Got a little bit of a headwind, so I'm gonna have to give it a good pump to actually get it all the way there. This one's hard to park though. That's a good line. That should be pretty good. I think that one might be a little bit left, but I think it's got a good line to get to the basket. I ended up at about circle's edge. Got this little marking sign kind of in my way, but I should be able to straddle out from it. Yeah, a little bit of a low ceiling putt. Some branches in the way. All right, left a little bit of a tester coming back for the 3, but good tee shot. Actually, one of my better ones here. I left myself a little bit of a tester, kind of snuck back here into the brush over here. There's just enough twigs and stuff to make it a little bit tricky in here. I'm gonna give it a good old Texas flip here. This little branch is kind of in the way there, but I should be able to make something work. Ooh, barely over the cage, but it's in. I've got to quit leaving myself tester putts for par. I know on the front 9 I was harping on a couple of those holes being tweeners and that I didn't like them, but I do think there's a proper way to do an eagleable hole, and I think this is a good example of one of those. We've got a 506-foot shot where you've got to push something straight for a while and then get a little bit of a left fade right at the end. I think this is good. Reward a player who does throw a 500-foot accurate shot with an eagle. That's fine by me. I'm gonna go with a Nimitz here. I don't think I've got the power to get there today. I've eagled it before, but it'd be tough today. It's pretty straight. I needed a lot more height. That's gonna be in a tricky spot. I was pretty fortunate to end up with a line straight to the basket. I should be able to pitch up and take a birdie pretty easily. Just get my foot right in there. Then just give this a little frisbee toss. And a little kick off to the right, but that should be fine. Got a pretty easy little tap in here. Hole 14 is a 352-foot left to right moving shot. Plays well for a forehand for your right-handed players. Pretty standard hyzer for your lefty. I'm gonna go with a bayonet, trying to just throw it at this tree in front of the hole and let it fade in. That looks pretty good. Just get in front of that tree, maybe get a skip, get in. Oh, I don't know where that ended up, but it was skipping right at the basket. That would have been a great ace. I'm not exactly sure how it skipped as far as it did, but I think I'm at like circle 2. We're gonna walk it, see if I can hit a little jump putt. Yeah, definitely just outside circle 1. Got a little bit of a stepper or jumper. Got a little headwind. Let's see what I can do. Played that wind rise really well. I'll take it on that one. Hole 15 is a 547-foot par 4. You've got a double mandatory about 3/4 of the way down the fairway that you have to navigate. Should be pretty easy to play for a birdie. If you have like over 500 foot of power, you might be able to get there. But it's probably not worth challenging that double mando. I'm gonna go with a bayonet and try to just play to the open field. Other than the zip, hole 3, this is one of the more fun downhill tee shots in the San Antonio area that I know of. So I always like to throw a few off of it. I'm gonna go with a bayonet, as I said, just trying to get something out there. That should be fine. It's a little bit left, maybe hit that tree. That'll leave a bit of a challenging angle, but should be able to manage it. All right, I left myself a tricky angle here. I'm gonna go with a bash. I really just need to do like a little frisbee toss just by this left mandatory tree and let it fade in there close to the basket. That looked perfect. Now sit. Okay, that tree caught me. I should have a pretty easy tap in there. I really like the placement of this basket. With it being a shorter par 4, it at least puts a little bit of danger with a drop off right behind it. Shouldn't come into play when I've got a like 10-foot putt, but it can get scary if you're out towards circle's edge. Hole 16 is a very strange designed hole because you've got this branch creating this low ceiling, but then the basket is up on a hill. I don't know if there's any way to really get like an ace on it, but usually what I do is like a chupacabra and just play a skip up into the hill and try to get a look. Definitely not my favorite hole. Wish they could have done something a little different here, but it works. We're gonna go with the chupacabra here, see if we can get a little skip. Got caught up in the tree, but that's fine. We're gonna probably take a 3 and move on. So I ended up getting caught in this tree. I'm really not too far. I'm probably like edge of circle 2, but with this uphill and weird footing, I'm just gonna go with a little forehand. Maybe I'll get lucky and get something close to going in. That's fine. Take my 3 and go to hole 17. All right, I'm just gonna tap in with my chupacabra here. Hole 17 is a 350-foot par 3. It's pretty straight off the tee, but you've got this bush that blocks you from going straight. So you need to go on like a slight flip up hyzer on the right here. I'm gonna go with a Dos Equis. Also a flex forehand could play pretty well. I got a little headwind today. I'm just gonna leave this high and right, let the headwind turn it a bit, and hopefully get up there for a look. Yeah, headwind turned it. It's gonna need the skip. Come on, skip. It's gonna be a little short, but it's not bad at all. Ended up a little short in circle 2. We got probably a 45-footer. See if we can make us another jump putt here. Nope. All right. Hopefully I can tap that in for 3. All right, so we went past by about, I don't know, 15 feet here. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Not too much wind to speak of right now. All right, on to hole 18. All right, on to the final hole here. Hole 18 is a 618-foot par 5, so continuing that streak of very soft par 5s. Really, a 300-foot forehand followed by a 300-foot hyzer backhand should get you a look for the eagle there. I'm gonna go with a chupacabra, and if I can land in the ideal spot, I'll pick it back up and throw it again. All right, I'm just gonna little forehand out there. Doesn't have to be too hard. That actually looks just about perfect. Yeah, that is the ideal landing zone. I should be able to pick up that chupacabra, throw a spike hyzer, and have a look for the eagle. That was a well-executed tee shot, got me right in the middle. I should have about 280, 300 feet. I'm gonna go with that same chupacabra. So I threw my mini down. I'm just gonna try to throw this out, let it fade in near the basket. That looks pretty good. That should be pretty close. Should have a chance to finish up with an eagle. I did make it in a circle one here. Probably got like 22 feet or so to get this eagle. Just try to get it high and in the chains. Whew, barely cleared the cage, but not too bad. These soft par 5s really helping out my score here. Alrighty, well, stay tuned and I'll break down the score for Joshua Springs Disc Golf Course. Now it's time to see how Joshua Springs compares to other disc golf courses in the greater San Antonio area. Starting off with the beauty score, I have Joshua Springs at a 6 out of 10. It's definitely above average. It's somewhat secluded, so you get a little bit of peace and quiet. There's a little bit of scenery with some hills, and then the best view is on the downhill par 4. But there's nothing extraordinary that is just amazing to look at, so I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. When it comes to the overall course design at Joshua Springs Disc Golf Course, I'm also going to be rating that a 6 out of 10. Most of the course I like the course design on, but there are a few holes that I don't care for that much. Hole 6 being the primary one, where there's really no line thought out, and also many of the par 5s are truly just good par 4s if you can clean them up a little bit. I don't really care for the low ceiling shot on hole 16. And then there's a few other areas where I think it could just be improved by taking out a few trees or adjusting the pin location slightly. When it comes to the fun category for Joshua Springs, I have it rated as a 7 out of 10. I think it's got a good mix of short holes that you can have ace runs, as well as longer holes where you can really unleash on a disc and throw it as hard as you can. The eagle opportunities and even albatross opportunities are fun, even if they're not great course design. And then the big downhill shot, who doesn't love to just try to throw as far as you can down a hill? So overall, a 7 out of 10 in the fun category. The course quality is really where Joshua Springs excels. They have great tee pads, great baskets. The signage is some of the best I've seen. One thing that could be improved in that area would be adding a map of the back nine, but I know that was not initially part of the course. The ability to borrow or trade in discs at hole 1 is a really cool feature. Honestly, the upkeep of the property was great. So I'm going to rate the overall quality an 8 out of 10 for Joshua Springs. With all 4 of those categories combined, that brings Joshua Springs to a 6.75 overall, which is good enough to take the lead in our current standings. Let me know which course I should try next, and let's see if it can take the lead from Joshua Springs.